What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Things are getting a little bit squirrely. Take a look here. Well, maybe more than a little bit. Two Russian bombers intercepted before entering Dutch NATO airspace. Take a look here. Yeah, Danish F-16s were deployed to intercept Russian Bears, Tu-95s. The Dutch Air Force said that two Russian bombers were intercepted over Denmark as they were flying towards Dutch NATO airspace. Yeah. According to a spokesperson for the Dutch Royal Air Force, cited by Reuters, planes are intercepted if they do not have a unique identifying code and did not provide a flight plan, and there is no two-way conversation. So think about this. They're literally flying towards NATO borders. They're Russian bombers. They're not communicating. Think about that for a second. Yeah. Two Air Force F-16s took off this morning to intercept two Russian bombers. These flew towards Dutch airspace. The deployment of fighter aircraft involves so-called Quick Reaction Alerts, QRA, the Dutch Defense Ministry said in a statement. It added that the Russian Bears, Tu-95, were intercepted by the Danes and the bombers have now turned back. Yeah, you can see here on the map, the tanker aircraft has repositioned further north, so maybe the Russian aircraft was heading back as they got intercepted by the F-16s. But what if they didn't? Yeah, they didn't provide any flight path or communications or anything. The statement says, quote, "This doesn't happen often, but today's incident demonstrates the importance of rapid deployment. The F-16s are in standby 24 hours a day and can take off within minutes and intercept an unidentified aircraft," the statement noted. This also comes as North Korea has publicly confirmed for the first time that the U.S. Army soldier Travis King is in its territory. This is the U.S. Army soldier who defected and ran across the DMZ zone and has not come back since. And it might be never, honestly. Also, North Korea is saying that the U.S. soldier Travis King wants refuge in North Korea or elsewhere because of, quote, "inhumane maltreatment and racial discrimination in the U.S. and the military." This is what North Korea is saying. Now, I don't know if he's going to get better treatment in North Korea or if he's ever going to come back, but we will see. North Korea is also ordering sharp increase in missile production. Days before, U.S. South Korea is ordering more military drills there as well. Almost like they're continuing to provoke North Korea, really pushing them to the edge. So, keep your eye on this because it's really high tensions over there almost on a daily basis. This comes here today as a NATO official made a comment that he had to withdraw and said was a mistake. Stan Jensen, director of the private office of NATO's Secretary General, was criticized over his comments. The comments he made the previous day regarding Ukraine ceding land to Russia in order to gain membership into NATO was a mistake. He said during a panel debate in Norway, "I think that a solution could be for Ukraine to give up territory to Russia and then get NATO membership in return," the Norwegian newspaper reported. He said it was up to Ukraine to decide when and what terms to negotiate. He said in a follow-up interview, my statement about this was part of a larger discussion about future scenarios in Ukraine. I shouldn't have said it that way. It was a mistake. The initial comment caused a stir in Kyiv. His words appeared to be criticized by Ukrainian presidential advisor Mikhailo Podolyak on social media, who called the concept of giving up territory for NATO membership ridiculous. He added that to do so would be deliberately choosing the defeat of democracy, encouraging a global criminal, preserving the Russian regime, and destroying international law and passing the war on to other generations. Ukrainian President Zelensky and other Ukrainian officials have repeatedly said Ukraine is not willing to give up any of its territory in order to reach a peace deal to end the war in Ukraine. Yeah, and this goes to show you that Ukraine doesn't want to give up their land to the invader, to Russia. This is and the way to kind of think about this is if, you know, Russia were to invade Alaska. Remember here that Russian congressmen have said here just recently that they would potentially take back Alaska. Yeah. And in fact, remember they said this as early as last year or as late as last year. Okay. So imagine if they all of a sudden just went in there overnight and invaded Alaska without us knowing, and were able to take part of Alaska because we weren't expecting it, and then say, well, as part of the negotiations, we're going to claim this part of Alaska and we're not going to give it back. And the only way we're going to negotiate is if you give us this land, and that's that. We're not going to negotiate unless we're taking this back. We're going to reclaim this land, and that's it. That's our only way we're going to negotiate. And there's gonna continue to be bloodshed unless we reclaim Alaska, or this part of Alaska. That's basically what Russia is saying with Ukraine there. And Ukraine is saying, no, we don't want to give back our land. They've said this over and over and over and over. So you got to kind of put this in retrospect, or into mindset of if it were the United States. The United States wouldn't want to give up their land. Ukraine doesn't want to give up their land either, because you also got to remember here, it's not just the land. It's the people that live there on the land. It's the resources that live on the land. It's the people and the children that live on the land. It's the oil that's there in the land. Then they're going to tax the people that are there in the land. They're going to become Russian citizens, and then Russia's going to tax them. It's all of the above. Okay, and don't forget that Russia's already taken tens of thousands of children that may never even see their families again. Okay, and then all those people would become part of Russia. Then don't forget that Russia has a draft every year, and they're forced to go fight for the Russian army, and they've just raised the age of that as well. So then those people that would potentially grow up and have sons would have to go fight for Russia for eternities to come if they don't move out of there. Okay? So like all this stuff would have consequences for years and years and decades to come, unless they were to move eventually, if they're even allowed to move. So you got to like put all this stuff into perspective there. Yeah, so Ukraine doesn't want to give up their land to an invader, and their people, and their resources, the stuff in the ground, and all this stuff. So the United States wouldn't want to either. Poland wouldn't want to either. Any country wouldn't want to either. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date with everything going on a daily basis. If you haven't yet, subscribe down below. Click the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos. It's completely free to do so. Thank you for liking and sharing these videos as well. Click here to see a massive announcement that's affecting Americans' wallets. Or you can click here to see Putin coming after the United States. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.